Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st Millennium. I am Inquisitor Caveat Ventus, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is my report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesys adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee, Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Laura Elizabeth as Marni Schwartzenberger, and Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Vis. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band have met with Balphus Bail and combat has ensued. Marni got caught arm wrestling, Valentyne attacked the head of security, and Attikus is falling over a railing. Can the band survive a fight inside the distillery? Find out in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
From a builder's report on the brewery of planet Vicodin. Yeah, so I'm thinking for the safety railings, you should be fine if they're around the waist. You know, a lot of people try and make them higher, but you don't really need that unless someone, just like runs right into it, But what are the odds that's going to happen? Not so high, and you'll save a couple of crowns every meter. So all I'm saying, it's a pretty good deal. And beneath a large red stamp saying approved. Attikus, you are flung at slightly higher than waist level over this railing. The weight of the Corposec guy who again is wearing that like knockoff Arbites, not quite Judge Dredd armor, has been tossed into you. So it's not so much that this was an intentional attack. It's more of just a physics is a bitch kind of situation. So you and this kind of slab of human are run into the rails, and you have that horrific moment where your center of balance tips, and you can sort of start to feel the free fall. What do you do? I'll also say for story points today, I know, dear listeners, it has been but a mere second for you. It has been a year and a half in 2021 time since we last played. So I'm going to reset the clock. Given that we're in a high action scenario, I'm just going to go with a straight 2 and 2 to kick us off. So Attikus, what do you do?
I'm going to grab the catwalk with my big arm.
Get the big arm involved. Yeah. Okay, pal.
Bring myself back up.
Great. That makes sense to me. I'm going to need agility and I think in this case, coordination.
All right. Good game, guys. I have my dice pool.
I would, I'd take coordination or I'd take athletics, but I feel like it's coordination because it's I don't know. Because you're...
Well, no, it would come down to, if I remember this correctly, it's not two pieces, right? Like that's blood and syrup.
Yeah.
This is one piece that we're looking for, one kind of check.
So it's either athletics or coordination.
Or it be something else.
Yes, I am sorry.
That's okay, man.
It's been a while. This Red Bull is not
It was
working.
really
So
really
here's the
fun to
interesting thing,
watch.
though.
Like I just want to say, it was really fun to watch. Like the looks going back, like the subtle negotiation.
Okay,
like,
we'll just roll a will save and we'll be fine.
Here's the thing. It still ultimately comes down to, is this a coordination check, which is based on agility, or an athletics check, which is based on brawn? The core debate is still 100%.
No, this clears it up for me. I would say either is an acceptable check for this. So, Tyler, I think based on Attikus, you'd be fine to go ahead with athletics. Largely because...
we'll go with athletics.
Yeah, I thought you might. Coordination would be like, I'm going to do this elegantly. Athletics is just like, you just crunch the hand together on like... catwalk and railing. It's not grabbing the railing. Yeah, it's grabbing a bunch of metal and crunching it together to create a handhold. However you can. So it's not balletic. It's just badass.
No, it's definitely just reaching out and grabbing.
Great. So I think given that there's the slight distraction of the gunfire from the other room, this is going to be a bit of a harder check than it would normally be. That's just a bit of a distracting mess. We're going to say 3 purple to start. I'm going to give you a setback for the distraction of the gunfire and being kind of caught off guard. I'm gonna give you another setback for the weight of the guard who's been thrown into you. We established that both of these were hale and hearty fellas, so he's unfortunately not a
big old soft.
You didn't get like a nice little light fella thrown at you. Yeah, a waif. Yeah. Where you're like, this is cool. I can just pick you up and we can do the dirty dancing spin. Yeah. This is like,
I inhale him as he's thrust at me.
Yeah. Oh no, we're both Patrick Swayze. Cool. I'll give you a boost for the robo arm. Again, the fact that you're not trying to. There's no elegance to this. It's just like if it fits in my claw, the claw will get it. So I think that makes sense to me. Yeah, I think that's it on my end.
Yeah, you really don't want to startle Attikus while he's holding a cat.
No. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Attikus knows all of them by accident. Yes. I don't think there are cats in the 40K. Like they'd have to be like they're probably like a. I feel like cats would have to be like a secret space race of like robo cats or some shit. Skulls.
That's what the Hrud are. Hrud are just cats.
Yeah, you take a town mask off, just a cat. Don't be fooled by the Duros heads from Star Wars they normally have. All right, pal. That's it. That's it on my end.
I'm gonna spend a story point.
Cool. Yep. That yes.
Even though it's a brawn check and that is in my favor, I feel like this is not one to take chances on.
Nah, man.
So I have my dice pool put together, and I'm going to roll. Closer than I'd like, but it turned out okay. 2 successes, 4 advantage.
Oh, hey. All right. So yeah, you feel that the servos in your arm were up, and you just feel that satisfying crunch, whether it's an enemy cat or a walkway. You felt that crunch before. The walkway crumples under your hand, like someone with tiny arms like me squishing tinfoil. And you feel yourself kind of like clang against it. It wrenches your shoulder pretty badly, but I think given that you're basically carrying a massive piston around, like stapled to your body, I think you're used to what that feels like. Is even just throwing like one of your falcon punches with this thing must really wrench your body. So it's painful, but you're used to it. The guard who went over with you, having lost the arm wrestle, is still clinging to you. He's like scrabbling at you. He doesn't have a good handhold, but he's kind of going for it. With your advantage, you can actually technically spend advantage to make an enemy drop something. So in this case, I feel like you could spend it to have him drop you.
Himself?
That works for me.
Yeah.
Narratively, it could be the spikes that I've customized onto my armor, just like not allowing him to like.
Oh yeah, great. It's like it's like the Scrabble, but each time he's like just shredding his hands. He's like, ow, ow. Man, if only those gloves were slightly better, but gotta tell you, they ain't. So with a classic Wilhelm scream, he scrabbles along you and finding nothing but spikes, plummets down to the factory floor. In a classic like Disney villain that the hero can't physically kill but still needs to die kind of way. Back up on the walkway, the other guard spins his weapon on you, Marni. What do you do?
That's fine. I mean, I think I'll probably just like, I'd love to do something that would cause a lot of damage, but I think I'd just punch the guy.
I mean, uppercut. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Like... Sure, go for it. And is the goal to punch him off the walkway or just punch him?
It's a punch. Yeah, basically like I would want to punch him basically through the air, like just...
Talking like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether, I mean, if his head comes off, that's fine. But if it doesn't...
Proper rock'em sock'em Marni moment. You're going for like the ping the head up. All right, great.
I mean, she hits to kill, generally speaking.
Okay. Let's go with to see who acts first. Let's go with a quick
Okay.
a quick roll here. It'll be nice and basic. I don't think any modifiers. We'll just roll it straight.
Okay.
So
I'm going to take a strain to add a success to my roll.
oh damn. Okay, cool.
I can do that.
That is very impressive. I just need to get my dice roller up here. I roll so rarely in this game that it's always a treat for me. Oh, it is fancy. Good work. Good work. New version of RPG-dice-roller.herokuapp.com, which is where you can find all your Genesys rolling needs, should you desire it. Wicked. So, Marni, we're going to roll... I think this is going to be likely. Let's go with coordination.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is just two people. Like it's going from nothing to a shootout. So I think it's how quickly you can react. It's not like act under pressure or anything, because it's just a like, oh no. So we'll say roll against a... We're actually just not going to include difficulty in this. So it's just a pure roll with your skill set.
Cool.
All right. And...
Man, 3 successes, 4 advantages, baby.
Oh boy. That is more than I think I can actually get with this roll. Yeah, I got... Wait, so you said you got what, Laura?
3 successes, 4 advantage.
Oh man, I got 3 success, 1 advantage. So you will get to act first.
Yes.
As you feel the guards start to go in your epic arm wrestle fail / win, once they go over the top, before they go over the top, I think there's just that moment of like fully understanding that this is about to turn incredibly bloody, and you can hear the gunshots starting up in the office. So like, it seems like this is the way it's going anyway. So you quickly stand up to face the guy drawing his gun. So go ahead and roll your melee attack, and we'll see how it goes. We'll say like the moment that buys you the time to close distance is you just like flipping the barrel. So there's just a bit of kerfuffle as you rush forward.
Super.
So
this is melee light, right?
That is correct. It'll be a difficulty of 2. I'm going to give you a boost for winning the agility check and flipping the table. I think you're still... How injured are you right now, Marni?
I am still enjoying 8 wounds of my 16.
Okay, so you're fine.
You're fine.
Cool. I actually don't think I have any setbacks for you, because I don't think you'd be worried about what's going on with Attikus. I think you just assume he can handle himself. And you can't help Valentyne yet. So really, this is just...
I'm just
Marni
doing my job.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a very like Wolverine, I'm the best at what I do, but what I do ain't very nice kind of situation. So go ahead.
Okay, rolling. That's 3 successes, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, just hit this underhand lob.
Yeah.
All right. So 3 successes. What is your damage on melee?
I almost guarantee you she doesn't have an unarmed stat.
I don't have an unarmed stat. Let me look that up real quick.
Sure. I can probably pull it from mine. Well, actually, here's the question. You want to knock this guy up and over, so you're not necessarily worried about physically doing the damage. Go ahead and roll me in athletics, difficulty 3. If you fail this, you'll still just get to do your unarmed damage. If you pass, then you can toss him up and over.
Okay. Rolling. Oh, 2 advantages, 2 failures.
Cool. So you're like just full glory eyes. You know, you've got like Chariots of Fire playing as you just full, down to over to up B. Like you just throw that fucking like raging uppercut. And as you connect with the bottom of his helmet, you feel a crunch in your hand. And it's bone fractures are bullshit, but things you can deal with. But yeah, you hit him just like you were aiming for the chin, and unfortunately you got him on the neck guard. So his head snaps back and he stumbles backward. But it's not like punching an orc off a cliff. There's some armor here.
Yeah.
So I would say you do a full Jackie Chan ow my hand, but I feel like for Marni, it's more like you just crack your knuckles and it's like, it'll heal how it's going to heal. That's fine. The bones are still inside, so who cares? All right, so let's find you that. That's.
It was my right hand, anyways. My non-dominant hand.
Oh, there we go. Okay, well that's good to know.
Well, because my left hand, I was like, my left hand had just done the thing. So momentum, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay, so we're going to the armory. One moment as it loads. Loading books because we're in the future. I don't know. Talk about Pepsi for a minute while I look this up.
Interesting.
No.
No, I'm not getting into that again.
Laura, what does maybe this is what we can do while I'm just looking this up.
Yeah.
What does Marnie's like close combat martial arts like? What does she look like when she's fighting? Is it just like, because I imagine it's a lot of pure force, but I'm curious how you think she fights. Like if it's more like a boxer or if it's like a wrestler. Like what's Marni in a bar brawl look like?
It's definitely more boxer like. It's like an untrained boxer.
Okay.
Just like she does it's just really big, wide swings that aren't very fast, but it's like, and she'll throw like a kick in there and stuff.
I was gonna say, so it's like Sean William Scott and Goon, just like
I
that
don't know.
style.
I don't know that reference.
It's a lot of like, he gets close. He's just known for like brutal and like amateur fights on the rink. So it's just like grab by shirt and then just punch until somebody's down.
Yeah.
It's just,
And
I'm
she would
imagining it's
probably,
like all
if-
haymakers. Like it's
if
not
someone-
jabs. It's just like.
Yeah, exactly. And if someone went down, she would like 100% just like drum on top of their head
just do
until
the
they're dead,
Donkey Kong murder. Just like,
exactly. It's just Donkey Kong.
Great. So you're gonna find bananas and murder people.
So she's a
not
silverback
subtle.
gorilla.
Yeah.
Yes, essentially.
The more
Plus
we go on,
kicks.
the more we realize Marni is an orc. Like, are you an orc is what she should ask herself. And the answer is
man.
yes.
Just looking herself in the mirror.
Man, I don't want to know what
Walk.
therapy in 40K
no.
looks like. It's just like, I'm feeling some self-doubt. Have you considered praising the Emperor and
gonna
murdering the Xenos? Well, no, that's what I do every day. It's just, I know.
Tom, therapy looks like the barrel of a last pistol.
I was going to tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm too sad to do my duty. That is a tragedy. They say as they pull the trigger.
Congratulations,
Sad.
you're front rank now. Wait, what? All right. So Laura, we're just going to take it as +1 to your fish. So you're going to do 3 points of damage.
Okay.
He stumbles back and raises his gun to fire upon you, having not been up and over. So what is can you give me your defensive stats?
Yeah, I have 2 defense for melee.
Okay.
Or is this be ranged if it's a shot, Tom?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, sorry, range.
No, that's
I
my
also
bad.
have 2.
So that'll add 2 setback to his shot.
Oh
moment.
fuck, man! I forgot to add a boost. God damn it!
Yeah, that sucks and is not my problem. All right.
I wasn't blaming you.
No, I know you weren't. All right, so we got 2 of these guys, 1 of these guys. For that, great. Okay. And so that's 2 setback from your defense. Honestly, I don't think I can give him boost for much because he was also like all in on this arm wrestling shit. So he's also kind of acting from 0. It's pretty close range, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to spend a story point to make this extra Hjornty. So that'll mean we're sitting at 2 and 2 again. Laura, did you want to spend a story point to make this harder on me?
No.
Cool.
Said so mournfully.
All right, here we go. So he
I
raises his
regret
gun,
that.
opens fire. 1 success, 1 threat.
Okay. I have Soka 3, so
Okay, cool.
I'm
So, I mean, you're not quite good. Give me a sec here.
Shut up.
So he opens up with sort of like, again, they're low level security. So I feel like for our purposes, I think we'll say these guns are just heavy slugs. They're probably like rubber coated bullets, but it's 40K. So that just means that the bullet is cleaner when it comes out the other side. So just like just a heavy shot from this gun, it blasts you back. You take 6 points of damage, but with your soak, that'll drop it down to 3. And
40K wise, it's probably a shot cannon. That's
there we go.
The
Perfect.
They've used for their shotguns.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, shot cannon. So yeah, just a quick shot. And he seems to like look to his companion, realize the it's a lost cause, and just like cock the gun and sort of swings it towards Attikus, who is hanging off the side. Meanwhile, back inside the office, Valentyne, you've opened fire on Zavala. Go ahead and roll your attack, please.
Alrighty, what's my die pool, Tom? I cannot remember if we built it a month ago or not. I don't think we did. I think we just cut away. So I mean, I know what I've got on my end.
It's a small enough office that it's going to be difficulty of 2, I think. Okay. You're at pretty close range. Also, he's not given that you'd planned this and he's not exactly a subtle target, I think it makes sense that, giant wall of like corporate accolades, giant hulking man in armor isn't exactly a crack shot. Okay, so that's fine. I'm going to give you a setback for trying to keep Balphus Bail down, since you're kind of like, she's not actively resisting. It's just a fucking pain in the ass to have someone kind of panicking and not knowing what's going on while you're trying to aim a pistol.
Yep.
So setback for that. Yeah, I think honestly that's probably it from me. Something that we haven't been doing a lot of, but I just want to remind you can do. Likely not on this action since you kind of used your maneuver to get her down. But in future, if you aren't moving around, you can spend that to aim, which will give you additional boost. But I think that's probably it from me. I'm going to spend a story point to up the difficulty just because I feel like you icing this man immediately alters the story quite a bit. So
I think I was going to spend one anyways because I feel like the ambush has been good for me. I think it comes down to the bonus would be having left the bolt pistol over on the side.
Yep.
The thought of a gun appearing is 0, so I'll do that as well.
For sure.
All right, let's see how this works out. 3 advantage, but 2 failure.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Man,
Tom, I definitely would have done this and I meant to do it, but I'll tell you if you want an option, which is the last pistol is known as variable, which means you can crank it up so it does more damage, but then it has scarce ammo. Scarce ammo means if you roll 2 failures, you run out of ammo. So if you just want it to be, I miss, and now the gun's dry, that is on the table.
Yeah, I like that from like an ambush with a Derringer thing where it's like, now fuck you, pow. Well,
yeah.
I didn't have enough room for bullets in my garter belt. I only had enough room for that. So yeah, sure. Let's say that. You fire. It's like the special edition Star Wars Greedo thing, where like somehow just digitally his head shifts to the side. So the blast hits behind him. You get the sense he was like 50% expecting something like this. So he hits the deck as well, kind of reaching for his own gun. And we're now in combat. So we'll say that was the surprise round. He's kind of like commando crawling through. I'm going to give you the initiative bonus only because you're already safe in cover. So as he scrambles to cover, you have a chance to do something. Your gun is dry. Your bolt pistol is a ways away. And Balphus Bail is just like, I hope you know what you're doing, Inquisitor. This is...
And I think Balphus is saying that and then looks over to see where the Inquisitor is, and the Inquisitor is already charging because he has no gun. So It's just refractor field on and that like slap the rosette way.
Sure.
And then he's going to try to take this guard out with a chainsword. If he's got to get close, then he's got to get close.
Okay, great. So I'm going to say as you're running then to close distance, he's going to turn around and open up with his shot cannon.
Nice. Can I cash in my advantage in a way that would help me with this charge?
Yes, we'll say how much advantage are you sitting on right now?
I had 3 advantage on that last roll.
Okay, so there's a couple ways we could do this. I believe 3 might actually be enough to get him to drop a thing. Sorry, one moment.
Oh, no worries. We're in a weird things we normally don't do realm of advantage.
Well, I'm also just trying to make sure that like I'm folding enough of the kinds of things you can do in Genesys in. I like the kind of somewhat simplified version we've been running, but I also don't want to rob you of like the full system when and where I can. Yeah, I can't find this right now, but we'll say for 3 advantage, Ryan, I'll say either you can cash in all 3 to make him drop the like fumble the gun. As he's doing like the spin around on the ground thing. It's an awkward maneuver. Or you can spend 2 to give him 2 points of setback, and you'll have 1 that you can bank to use as advantage on a future roll.
Realistically, I think let's do that second one, because I would find it to be a bit of a stretch that the head of security, who is paranoid and thinks of them as the Inquisition guy, would just like drop his gun.
I'd be inclined to agree as well. Okay, great. So awesome. So yeah, he spins around. Again, it's an awkward maneuver. He's going to try and blast you.
So he's got 2 setback for that, and my defense at range is 3.
Great. So he's got 5 setback. The app doesn't like that I'm tapping the button this much. It thinks that I'm glitching out. I am not. Okay, great. So he is shooting at close range. That's a difficulty of 2. And then his skills are not the worst. You know, that high praise, not the worst.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they send their best, it's rarely the worst. He earned that fucking pin from the Inquisitor.
Yeah, right. He wanted it so bad. Okay, so we got that. In terms of boost, the shotgun, the combat shotgun gives him 1 just for being like at this range.
Yeah, it's a negative if I was further away, but I'm not.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, cool. All right, I like that. So that's all good. Brian, you want to spend any story points? We're currently sitting at
we're 2 and 2. Because you spent 1 on that last one.
That's right.
So
yes. Yep. We're 2 and 2.
Yeah, I need to not die, so I would like to spend a story point. That'd be great.
Man.
I feel like, again, it's just the flurry of action is the Inquisitors had the advantage of knowing this was going to happen and being ready to kind of
I would also say that like Zaval's in a tough place because he also can't like pray and spray because he can't kill Bale. If he drops Bale, he's in real fucking like, given the entire conversation about like if anything happens to Balphus Bail, the entire operation falls apart. It's like, fuck. I need you to be directly in front of me so you take all of the shot because I can't afford collateral. So it's like he's waiting for you to get closer. Looking through his stupid man in the iron mask helmet at you.
Yeah, which is a risk when the other guy has a chainsword.
It's a real big risk, but it's one of those like bodyguard in a bad situation. Like, you know, like, I don't know, the drug barons getting out the back and they're like, oh man, this job was great until today. Let's roll. Oh boy, that's real ugly when it's shown visually. Christ. 2 advantage, 3 failures. Yeah, indeed. Okay, how the fuck are we gonna play this? Now I am gonna have to pull up what we spend advantage on, because
shit's getting weird.
Yeah. 2 advantage. Okay, sorry. 1 sec, guys. This is actually very, very important now, so I want to make sure I don't cock this up. The good news is, Ryan, no matter what happens, you're in much better shape than you were like 12 seconds ago. So,
well, that's nice.
Yeah,
it's all about net gains. You know, I'm going to take what I can get and not worry about what I don't get.
I much prefer this to like dramatic pauses when we know someone's gonna die. That's one of us.
Well, let's not rule things out in the
Those are
Genesys
less
system.
fun.
Yeah, it's kind of alarming that we've got to that point with this system where like those are that's the binary. Like it's either someone is very dead or everything is fine. Oh, there we go. I knew I'd fucking. grab
Or
the
things are
tables.
getting worse. I don't know if I'd ever go with things are fine.
Yeah.
It's either a death roll or we're 2 other rolls away from a death roll.
Things were
Okay.
fine in the flashback. That's it.
Even then, some shit went down. Okay, that's really funny. I can do next to nothing with that. So Ryan, I'm gonna add a setback to your next check, but
Cool.
yeah, I would need 3 advantage to be able to knock it out of your hand, which is what I really wanted to do.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I think it's because we've been talking about your refractor field a little bit in like Dune terms. So like just being hit by that much just slows your pace slightly as you're like storming forward. But you can see it kind of crackle along the field, and he just goes, "Shit, Inquisitorial tech." His greatest fear. No pin will save him now. Valentyne, you approach a man on the ground with a chainsword.
Yeah, I think this is the straight classic, just straight down the middle, just stab it into the torso and try to draw it along the floor towards himself,
Just
up the head.
Holding B with your in fucking Gears of War, just being like, it's
Yes.
Lancer time.
100%. Just the classic head stomp execution, but
Yeah,
just
great. Oh, you're so close to getting a mission star, bud. I'm so proud of you. Can you tell I've just started playing these games? I'm still very excited about them. I'm like someone who discovers Game of Thrones a year from now and is like, holy shit, this show is really good, right? And everyone's like, for now.
All right, so I've got a setback from the advantage.
Yeah.
What is the armor situation? Because I know that could be more setback.
Yeah, it absolutely can. Oh man, I'm in a completely different book now.
Is it carapace? Like, is it what like stormtroopers are wearing in terms of that? Because then we can just borrow it from Laura, which is 2.
No, hang on. I've got it right here. I just need to scroll back up a little bit. So he is wearing. Where are you at? His melee defense is 2.
Okay, cool.
Because yes, it is military carapace.
Because that's 2 more. What's the difficulty on this, Tom?
You're attacking a prone man at close range. So difficulty on all melee is 2, just by default. But I'll give you a boost because he had to kind of sacrifice everything he could do just to turn around and aim at you. So he is in somewhat dire straits. So that's all good. I'm going to spend a story point to try and keep my ass alive. As you do.
Cool. I had 1 advantage carry over. Can I spend that for a
You sure
boost?
can. Yep.
Oh, great.
I think that sounds like it's about it, unless you want to spend a story point.
I don't know. I always feel like just counter spending to try to balance is a little bit cheatery. So I'll do that if it's
Sure. I mean, my general philosophy of this is, I would say I'm fully okay with the counter spend if the counter spend is like it narratively makes a lot of sense. This is an important action for me. It's less cool when it's like, I do this while I also do it. So
yeah. And I feel like this probably would be an instance of the latter instead of the former. I feel like also it's a weird thing, but Valentyne shouldn't have a huge advantage in this fight. Like he's not a specialist, which means like the desperate actions feel like they should be probably outside more effective than necessarily here. So let's just find out what happens.
Sure, man.
This is an interesting pool.
All right. Roll them bones.
3 advantage and 2 failures.
Wow. Okay.
So Tom, what weapons? We got a shot cannon. Do we have anything nasty close up?
Not that he's drawn. I think he's got a shock stick, like a shock maul, hanging off his belt for just cracking normal employee skulls. Like our pal Fahogogas would be on the receiving end of that for walking too slow or not chanting well enough.
Then let's say the overhead strike, but Zavala manages to get the shot cannon up to block it, so I could just saw through the shot cannon, but I don't get to him. So shot cannon's out.
Sure. Yep. I dig that.
That was just an unarmed dude on the floor.
Great. So yeah, it's that classic like push pull. Eventually, he kind of wrenches it to the side. The cannon flies away. off the in two pieces off the edge of your chainsword, and as you kind of watch it go, you look back to see his hand rising to his ear mic. An overheard communication around security at the Vicodin factory. Look, if the orcs breach the perimeter, by this point, we're probably pooched anyway. So realistically, we don't need the most hardy and reliable weapons. We just need things that are really good for shooting the occasional tourist or the occasional plant worker who gets out of line. So, you know what? Just go with the no-name munitions. Really? How often are we going to use them? Having watched his shot cannon get sliced in half as the inferior quality metal was sawed through by the Emperor's finest, Valentyne is putting his hand to his helmet, trying to reopen communications, which the Inquisitor had wisely convinced him to shut off, and that are admittedly difficult within the helmet anyway. Valentyne, you're standing over him. You've just cleared him with the chain sword. The challenge facing you now is killing him probably isn't going to be that much of a difficulty. It's whether or not he can get a message through in the time you have. So standing over him, chainsword in hand, as he reaches for the communication device, what do you do?
I just double-handed stab him right through the brain. Like, I think this is, normally he'd be very pithy or there'd be dialogue or conversation. I think this is an ugly knife fight and Valentyne knows it. This is just like, he needs this to be a dead man right now. Like, this is, before he may have just been like, it'd be an ugly fight, but this is, don't even worry about anything else other than kill.
Okay, so I will say this is going to be a slightly harder roll for you because the helmets are of the shitty armor that we've established, the one actually heavily armored piece on him. So this is one of those, like, you flip the grip around, you'll put your hand on the bottom of the pommel and just like drive it into iron. But it is an iron mask. So it's like that classic, like, spark spring, like chainsaw on metal drive in. So we're going to go ahead and say 3, difficulty of 3. Or no, sorry, it should always be 2 because it is still melee. We'll just add more setback die. Okay. We're going to say setback for the helmet for sure. Boost for prone.
Okay.
I'll give you an additional boost for the fact that he's not even trying to stop you. He's just trying to get that communication through.
Okay.
Because of the helmet should give him 2 because that's his so 1 more. Because that's the defense on his die. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I think we'll throw a story point on there because Valentyne would be.
Yeah, he's in it to win it.
Yeah, this is with all the force of the Emperor's wisdom behind it. Oh fuck! Alrighty, let's see what happens.
It's my favorite prayer to the Emperor to date.
That's a wash.
Oh damn! So as you're feeling the chainsword drive against the metal of the helmet, sparks are flying. You just hear him yelling, like, all of them, all of them. All of them. However, you are using a chainsword against an iron helmet that the communicator is in. So not unlike the off-brand earbuds I wear, the mic is not great right now. So you get the sense that he is talking to someone. They may not fully understand what is being said. So there may still be a glimmer of hope. I think if we're talking in like Metal Gear alarm statuses, you're at yellow. It's not red yet. People are aware that a communication is happening and something sounds bad on the other end, but it's so vague that's not like, come to the foreman's office immediately, we're pooched. It's more so like, okay, it's one of those like, sir, I understand. Sir, I understand. Where are you? We will send the police. Where are you, sir?
Based on what he's saying, all of them. I do like the idea of someone on the other end of the radio being like, how many? How much of the security?
I'll send, so like 6 guys?
All right, I'm going to send one guy over. No? You all?
Alvin, you want me to send Alvin Dem? I mean, he's pretty good, but do you need more than just Alvin Den?
What about the guys on break? Them too? No. Yeah? I'll ask.
I mean, our union's pretty strict on that, but I guess. Wait, me too? Who will answer the phone? So is this Lotzi is happening outside? The gun, the shot cannon has been taken off of Marni and aimed at Attikus. Attikus, you're still hanging. You've just booted a man to his fate. Where is your attention focused right now? I know that sounds like a dumb question, so I'm going to clarify it before we end up in the zone of like, I'm not dying piece. But so you just knocked the guy down. So there's the factory floor beneath you. You know the skull crawlers are around there somewhere. Stuff going on above you. Are you like tracking him falling? Are you looking back up to see how you get back up there? Are you looking to see if anyone has noticed what's going on? What's the where's your
back up first and foremost?
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and roll athletics, please. Difficulty of 2. You're unencumbered now, so this is just a proper scrabble up. I'm going to give you a... No, actually, I don't think I've got any setbacks for you because, like, realistically, you grabbed it. It would be different if you grabbed it with like your organic arm. I feel like this would be like a real hard maneuver for you. Yeah. So no setback for me. Just the straight difficulty, I think.
Okay.
I don't know that I can justify any boost for you either at this point.
That's okay.
Cool.
Yeah. I think just losing the setback of having someone hanging off me for a minute is good enough. 2 successes, 1 advantage, 1 triumph.
Whew. Whew. It's your factory now. Congratulations.
Wow.
Jesus. Okay. So you hop right the fuck back up there. I think it's you know, if this arm was made for anything, it's just to like crank your entire body weight back up, and then you kind of pull yourself up. Just as the other trooper turns with his shot cannon, because you rolled a triumph, you're in like tremendously good shape. So one of the things you can spend a triumph on is doing something vital, such as shooting the controls in a nearby blast door or anything of that ilk. I would say you can burn that to take an action against him if you'd like.
Ooh,
that was technically a maneuver, but burning a triumph also gives you, on an initiative check, the potential to do a free maneuver. I'd say we can just use that here. Okay. So basically, it'll give you an extra move. Because I don't think we should count that as your action. That seems like more a maneuver than a...
Okay. Then I'd like to have this guy get sent over the edge then. Just one hit and knock him off.
Great. So go ahead with melee attack, difficulty of 2.
Melee light. Okay.
I will give you a setback for him cranking his gun towards you. If this goes badly, he'll open fire.
Okay.
But I'll also give you a boost for just like the boost for doing this in a dangerous place. Like, it's much easier to punch a guy off this thing given how kind of shitty it is. And I'm sorry, Tyler, I got to give you 2 more setback from his armor, from his defense.
Okay. Yeah, I'm rolling.
Go for it.
4 advantages, 1 failure.
Okay. So you rush. He actually sees you coming because he was training his gun on you. So he opens fire as you like throw your fist forward. He kind of like ducks under and just kind of fires at point blank. So we'll see how that plays out in a second. That said, with your advantage, you had how much advantage?
4.
4. So you can actually disarm him if you want to spend 3.
Yeah, I would say probably my hand kind of came around to my big hand came around to like across the catwalk to probably like knock him off the side. And it seems like based on this roll, he probably like drew back just out of range, and I just clipped the gun out of his hands instead of sending him over the side.
Yeah, so the gun goes off. Flakes of paint and permaconcrete sort of flutter down from the ceiling, and he stumbles back. The gun skitters away. It doesn't go like up and over the edge, but he is momentarily disarmed. You have one remaining advantage. You can either recover strain, you can add a boost to the next allied character's check, you can notice an important detail. Those are kind of your options. Or
I think I would pass a boost over to Marni, and sense. I think that translates just in the form of like we're like collectively like 2-on-1 this guy now. Yeah. He's facing me to shoot me, and I knock the gun out of his hands, so he's got his back to Marni, so she's theoretically next up to take advantage of this scenario.
Great. Which brings us to Marni.
I think I just want to throw my knife in his face.
Okay.
Now that he's down, just like
he's still on his feet.
Oh, he's still on his feet.
Yeah, his gun is down. His gun is skittered away. His gun's down. But basically, he dodged back and like put the gun out to fire, and Attikus's fist knocked it out of his hands.
Okay. In that case, since he's still up, I'll then hit him with my axe. I'll basically try to take an arm off.
Okay, sure. So difficulty of 2. Cool. You got 2 setback from his armor, from his defense.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an additional setback for aiming. If you're trying to take his arm off specifically, that's a much different strike than just like I'll take what damage I can give.
Do you know what? I don't think Marni would sacrifice the chance of like missing in order to hit something specific.
Great. Yeah. Okay. That tracks for me too. So you can lose that one. That's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think there's any boost.
And then I'll add that boost, right? From
yes, you get 1 moving forward from Attikus.
Actually, I'll spend a story point, if you don't mind. Because Marni really wants that gun, like really badly. She's really missing her guns. So I think she has kind of extra motivation to like put this guy down.
Okay, amazing. So we're now sitting at 0 and 4 in my favor. And
shit,
go ahead and roll.
Fuck. Okay. 1 advantage. That's it.
All right, so you describe how you attack him with the axe.
Like all of Marni's attacks, she does basically draws the axe, like massive sweeping pull out to full extension back, and just like straight down over his head.
Right, so just like telegraphs it like crazy.
Yeah.
Great. So he, with a speed you didn't expect from someone this size, dodges to the left, and actually throws an incredibly adept kick to the side of your head. You're tough enough that it doesn't do any damage. It just like it sort of strikes you, but causes you to kind of like obviously miss with the strike and stagger back a bit. And he falls back into kind of a slightly lower stance, and he's kind of moving around. You get the sense that he might be a rather proficient kick fighter. So we're in a whole new ball game. That said, you do have 1 advantage, so you can recover a strain, add 1 to the next allied character's check, which I think in this case we'll say would only be Attikus. It would feel weird if you're like magic helping Valentyne through the door.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think it makes sense to pass it on.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we cut back inside the office. The Zavala seems to be like legitimately making some progress. You can hear the like orders are getting more targeted and specific, though he is still panicking. Ryan, what do you do?
So on the attack, I think Valentyne's just leaning in. This is just like an even better position, just force it through the head. But he will also yell into his coat, Eugene, Ricastrello, all channels. At which point Eugene, which is a portable radio, can just start blaring the Ricastrello music that Valentyne uses to hide things out on every radio channel. So it's the equivalent of just like being the one person to hit the on button on every VoxLink channel in the hopes that he can just disrupt as much communication and jam things as possible.
Yeah, let's roll for that, and then we'll roll for the fighting. So for Eugene, then, Ryan, let's go with... He doesn't have his own stats, right?
No. Eugene is just a radio.
Yeah, I understand. So I would say probably tech use. And again, we're mostly just looking here for how able is Eugene to hack, to overwhelm.
How much does it affect things just doing the broadcast?
Yeah, I'm going to say a difficulty of 1 on this. I actually don't think it makes sense for the Vicodin factory to have like secure
Vox network
at all. Like it'd be like walking to a warehouse and trying to jam the walkie-talkies. Like literally, it's just like I turned the dial to the right one and then I hit on. But there is still an element of chance there. Setback from doing this in combat just makes it a little bit harder for you. I'm going to spend a story point to upgrade the 1 purple to a red, just as this is a rather important moment and the odds should be appropriately stacked against you. And that, I believe, is it.
2 advantage, 1 failure.
Okay. All right. So with your 2 advantage, it's the wrong table. It's like fight or flight. Doesn't seem like something you'd want. All right, 1 sec. So with your 2 advantage, you can perform an immediate free maneuver that does not exceed the limit of 2 maneuvers per turn. You can add a setback to the targeted character's next check or an advantage to any allied character's next check. So what we could say is you could spend this to make it more difficult for him to get the message out, and then I'll roll for his message. I think that might make
the most sense. Do that. I think that makes the most sense.
Okay, great. And did you say 1 failure?
1 failure, yeah. So obviously I don't jam the thing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm going to put together my dice pool. Ryan, for those of us unfamiliar with that particular song, what is it?
I mean, the modern day equivalent would be Never Gonna Give You Up, which is why I think it's actually a song dedicated to traitors and heretics called Emperor Gonna Give You Up. Just because it's to the darkness, to the crowd, to the galaxy, like you're just going to be given up by the Emperor.
Emperor gonna give you up.
Yeah.
Emperor gonna let you down. Emperor gonna run around and desert you.
Because you made the Emperor cry. He is gonna let you die.
From his golden throne on Terra.
Yeah.
Yay!
Great. I got 2 threats. Fuck me. So he's yelling into the mic again, like blade cutting into his helmet. Just desperately trying to get the message through. And on the other end, the guy's just like, all of them are gonna give you up with the Emperor. All of them are gonna. No, we're not gonna let you down. No, we're very good at our jobs. If there's a problem anywhere in the facility, we'll be there. We'll just be there and we'll stop it. Like, you're gonna be fine. This is fine. But unfortunately, through both of our combined failures, no proper message gets through. So Ryan, go ahead and roll your attack and see if you can end this tomfoolery.
All right, so I know my attack value and I know his setback. It's always difficulty 2 because it's combat.
Yep.
I've got a boost because he's prone.
Yep.
Great. Let's see what happens.
I will give you one more boost, Ryan, because I want to treat this as the equivalent of aiming. Given that you are just still like pushing, you may have like adjusted your footing a little bit, like got in a little bit of a better position. But yeah, this is, and you probably worked a little divot in at this point, so it's easier to just kind of.
Yeah, I've got my guide hole that I'm.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm working through it like slid over to an eye slit, so I'm just
in my head. That's always how this was going to end. So yeah, 100%.
Oh my god.
2
5
failures, 3
advantage and
Oh.
4 failures.
Holy shit.
Tom, I would like to spend 3 of my advantage so he drops his fucking helmet. Can I just skid it off him?
Nice try, but no. Sadly, it's strapped on real good. Damn, man.
Ouch.
Yeah.
What can I do with 5 advantage? What's the
I mean, you can activate a crit, but only I think if you're dealing damage and you're not. Actually, here's a good one. Here's one I can offer you. You can. You'd have to deal damage to wreck the helmet. So one of the things you can do is spend advantage or a triumph if you're already dealing damage to just wreck their gear instead of doing the damage. So you could potentially wreck the helmet. You just can't on this roll. But you can neutralize his defense on the next roll.
Oh yeah, I'm doing that, man. Fuck
Yeah.
this guy.
So
he's pinned. This helmet's shit.
it's like we'll say that your chain sword is like skittering across the top awkwardly, but then it finds purchase in the eye hole. And now like it's just like your eyes get like you got that Jack Nicholson like smile and nod thing where his eyes just get like a little bit more happy. But of course they're robot eyes, so you know it's in zeros and ones or whatever the fuck. You like it just feels a little bit better, and as it does, as you feel it click in, you see his other eye go wide, and suddenly Eugene just manages to get a chorus of the "gonna let you die" line, just broadcast kind of across all networks.
Yeah, it said gonna let you die, let you die.
Yeah, and Eugene's just like floating back and forth happily on the beats. Great. So damn, man, that's some wild shit. Okay, we cut back out to outside. The guard realizes it's 2-on-1 and his odds are bad. So that said, he keeps hearing "gonna let you die," and he feels that. He feels that in a real serious way. Also, his buddy has been thrown to his death. So he is going to attempt to flying jump kick Marni off the railing. So let's see how that goes. So Marni, your defense is 2.
Yes.
Great. So that is 2 for melee, 2 for defense. I'm going to give him a boost because he's being reckless about it. I'm going to spend a story point to upgrade one of my dice. So now I believe we are at 2 and 2 again. Trying to think if there's anything else going on here. No, I think that's it. So yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. 3 successes, 2 threats. He just like takes off sprinting, and it's just like full on like Hagar from fucking Final Fight, or just the 2-foot drop kick to boot you off the railing. So Laura, you're gonna take 6 points of damage just from impact. So your defense your soak will eat 3 of that, so it'll be 3 points of physical damage. But then he boots you up and over the top. That said, as is the way of these things, the attack itself isn't enough to like knock you. Like he didn't like, super smash you off the platform. Yeah. So you still have a chance to save yourself. Go ahead and roll me athletics, please.
Okay.
To see if you can stabilize yourself as you go.
What am I adding?
I'm gonna say this is probably difficulty 3 because you just got kicked in the chest, so it's not under ideal circumstance. I'll give you a boost for having considered that this is possible several times. I know as someone who's scared of heights, anytime I'm up on something tall, I always run all the worst case scenarios, at least twice. And as a result, like, I feel like given that you've been trying to punch people off and you just watched Attikus get back up, like, it's not entirely surprising.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to give you one more boost for the remarkable agility you currently have, because you're not weighed down by your normal power pack. So you're someone who's used to like walking around and being like as agile as you've been your whole life with like a giant fucking weight on your back. And without that, you're actually like, you're not nimble, but you're nimbler. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I'm a roll. 2 successes, 2 threats.
Okay, amazing. So you go up and over. I'm going to. This is where stuff starts getting weird. Oh yeah, this works. So for your threat, go ahead and take 2 points of strain.
Okie dokie.
Now, Tyler, I also got 2 points of threat on mine, which I think we're going to say means that in doing this, you know, it's a good boot. Marni flips up and over. She's still holding on and like hanging off the railing. But as with all proper drop kicks, this guy's on the ground now and sort of scrambling back up, which gives you an opportunity to attack. So go ahead. You'll have 2 additional boost on this because he's on the ground and getting up. Tyler, what do you do?
I'm gonna bring my fist down like a hammer. I'm so fucking sick of this. Attikus is just like, this is taking too long. Heard a gunshot feels like ages ago. My boss is in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
inside you're just hearing what sounds like construction work because it's just a chainsword grinding into
Yeah.
steel.
Yeah, exactly. Just so many fucking concerning sounds. 5 successes. Attikus just shouts, just
Yeah.
enough, and just that the fist comes down on the guy's face.
Right. It's like your fist goes through his face, through the catwalk, and half of his body comes with it. So now it's just like stuffed through the hole, like just dripping brain and bone in some kind of like horrific ceiling puddle. His whole body like twitches a couple times before sort of falling limp. And rising up, you make your way over to the catwalk to help Marni up. As you do so, though, you can see there do seem to be some people, like not the skull crawlers per se, but a couple more of these corposec guys down on the floor, starting to kind of like scan around. The advantage to this being kind of like a giant underground cavern is the gunshots that have happened up here have echoed like crazy. So it's very hard to locate where this would be. Also, you guys are an unsanctioned, unofficial, like logged tour. So it's not like they can just be like, well, there's only 2 tours in the factory, and one of them is us, and the other one is maybe murder. So you can see they're starting to like clear the space, but they're not quite sure entirely what's going on. What do you say to Marni as you pull her up?
I think it's a quick, just like, you're right.
Of course.
Good. And it's just like, and then he just like turns like, we go get this door open.
And Marni, as you follow Attikus, who I assume you're like charging up the fist to just like power slam.
I'm going to knock on the door.
Yeah. Amazing. You truly are the one who knocks. I'm only realizing now that my visual point of reference for Attikus is Doomfist from Overwatch. Which just like he's more fist than man, and it's just like everything he does is just like crazy. Like I'll throw this punch and it'll carry me with it. And Marni, as you stalk to follow him to go save your boss, you stop for a moment, and the world kind of time slows around you. And in your head, you hear like a heavy metal tinged version of Ave Maria as you reach one meaty, admittedly somewhat bone fractured hand down and wrap it around the shot cannon. And then, like Bruce Campbell in Army of Darkness, you just fucking hold that thing to the sky. It's basically a pistol for you. Like it's very small. But looking up at it, you realize that yet again, the Emperor has provided. And with that, Attikus knocks on the door.
Ave, my Emperor.
All of them. Send all of them. By the Emperor. It's full of blades. Final transmission of Zavala Tunica. Valentyne, you are driving your chainsword through the grooved eye slit of the helmet, and you are mad. You are, as a generally calm and positive person, for reasons completely outside your control. Things have gone tremendously badly for you of late, and you're not quite sure what's going on with your companions, and you certainly can't hear the gunshots from outside over the noise. But your stealth mission is rapidly turning into a full fire team adventure. So I assume you're just going to try and drive this straight through.
You're correct.
Great.
He's chosen a path, and he will continue to his eventual conclusion. So it's 2 difficulty. There's no setback this time because of the advantage from the previous roll.
That's correct.
I've got, would it be 3 boosts this time? Are we adding 1 each turn he keeps stabbing, or is it just the one for...
It's just the one for you're in a slightly more advantageous position. It will remain to be 1.
Great. So 1 for the advantageous position, 1 for the target being prone. Everything's the same, essentially, except no setback. Valentyne's just going like...
there is a story point back on the table, I believe. I think we might actually be back up to...
I think we're 2 and 2 is what I...
Yeah, I think we're at 2 and 2. Can you tell I haven't been writing them down this time? I can.
All right, then Valentyne's going to use 1. This is sheer imperial determination.
It's a fun way to pronounce
success,
desperation.
1 advantage.
There you go.
There we go. So that will do 8 damage.
Yeah, I'm going to leave the soak value off, given that it's coming through the eye slit of a helmet into an eye. And as he gasps into his comm link, just like that fucking drill from the beginning of Star Trek First Contact, just like fucking blade to the eye. It is gross as hell. It makes me so uncomfortable, but that's what it is. And Valentyne, you feel the satisfaction is different from kind of a clean kill. I just had to snake a drain yesterday, and like the teeth on the snake just kept getting caught on like the grate on the drain. So it wasn't like it goes in, it comes out, and the clog is gone. It's like it goes in, and then Tom swears for 20 straight minutes, just like trying to rejig it back and forth. So that's kind of what your chainsword does. It's not like and then I put a blade through his eye. It's like it goes in, but it's kind of, you have to like keep the teeth are like catching on the inside of the eye groove.
Nice.
Just like awkwardly wedging it back and forth. It's not dignified at all, but you're also just so mad and need this guy to be done that you really just commit to the cause. And then finally, with one last push, you feel the eye slit of the helmet give way and kind of just jam your blade out the side in a spray of blood, viscera, brain, and iron. As you drag the blade free, just as the door behind you explodes. With the sound of a dog barking. And in storms Attikus and Marni.
Sir.
Well, I hope things are quiet out there. It was sort of louder in here than I'd anticipated. He just like flicks the blade, like the blood off his chainsword, and reslots at his hip, goes over, gets his bolt pistol. Like he's just kind of back to business. He's like, all right, so bring in the corpses from outside and let's get everything in here so no one will know what happened.
1 corpse to bring in, sir. The other one went over.
And
All right,
Attikus will go get the body.
Great.
Marnie's just like looking over the edge, like thinking, like, is there a way? There's not a way to get it.
Marni, if you could come stand inside where no one can see you, that would be great. That would be preferable to being seen standing over the scene of a murder. Foreperson Bale. These are my companions. This is Marni, Schwartzenberger, and outside is Attikus Vis. Congratulations on your new governorship. We will take this planet back in the name of the Imperium. You will be named planetary governor. We will wipe out the orcs and everything will be improved as you will go back to the classic material line. But before the congratulations can be given and the title can be bestowed, I need your assistance in A, making sure we aren't all murdered by security, and B, getting the other Inquisitor down here along with Glasgow Vicodin so that we could, let's just say, eliminate the current leadership.
Okay. So she kind of like comes up from under the desk and just looks at like what's left of Zavala, and kind of the Dexter splatter pattern you've left from across the room. She just kind of says, "Okie dokie," and she just like relights her pipe. It takes like a long drag. It just does that classic like oh boy thing, and she goes over to the comm link. And she flicks a couple switches and turns a knob and does all the things you have to do to make technology work in the 40K universe. And she just says, this is foreperson Balphus Bail.
Sorry, just a second. Eugene, that's enough Estrella, thank you. You see the music cut out, so...
Sorry, I left my Vox record on. I love that song that we were listening to just now. Listen, you may have heard a little bit of commotion up here. There's a very, very good reason for that. And she takes another drag of her pipe. And then I'm going to roll to see how convincing she is. Because as someone who is very much like what you see is what you get on the level, she has no aptitude for this whatsoever. So let's see what happens with her. So I'm going to give her a boost for presumably Valentyne trying to like Cyrano de Bergerac her through this. She has that much. I'm going to say this is a difficulty of 4 because there have been clear gunshots. A lot of them, and a man fell off a railing. So it's not as easy as we're all fine here. How are you? And I'm going to give her both a boost and a setback for being a little bit high right now from the intoxicants. She sneezes. It's also one of the effects of the pipe. And then I roll. Oh, Jesus. 2 advantage, 4 failure.
Oh.
So she literally just leans in and says, I know what y'all heard just now sounded like sounds of a struggle and of guns being fired. Possibly shotguns like the Corpo Sec carry here, and that they would fire at an elite group of intruders who may have come in with a clandestine mission to install new governorship on this planet. I know that's what it sounded like. But have you considered it wasn't? And then she just kind of sits back and like looking fully like a dog who is just thrown up on the carpet, like just looks at you with kind of like a, did we get it? And then the alarms start blaring.
And Marnie's just like, even I knew that was not going to work.
Hey, Marni, what would you say that was?
It was bullshit.
Yay! And she's like, yeah, I know. Look, I'm real sorry. You probably have a few minutes before they can find us up here. Look, with the entire facility on alarm, Lord Inquisitor, the odds of Lord Vicodin and Inquisitor, Lord Billingberg, coming down planet side is high. As I understand it, they were meeting today. So if one's going, both of them will be coming. Watch out. He'll be bringing his retinue as well. She kind of like, you can see her already regret this. And she's like, can one of you either shoot me in the leg or punch me real good? It would really help the whole situation if it looks like I was given that poor performance under duress.
I look to Valentyne.
Well, I think the gunshot's a better idea than Attikus's fist. Keep it to the calf and make sure it's non-fatal, Marni.
I mean, Marni could also punch. Says Bale.
The Inquisition would not entirely trust, I believe, a fist at this point. You did sound like there was something about a governorship exchange. You really need to be innocent in this.
She nods and takes like a long drag off the pipe and just kind of holds it and goes, mm-hmm.
Just a moment before we do this, and he'll go over to the Zavala's body and just strip off the belt and go over and just tourniquet the leg before the gunshot rather than after. Feels like a smart move.
And like she's still holding like a mouthful of like a toxic vape smoke. She's like, mm-hmm.
Okay, Marni, let's do this.
Don't move, and then it's.
Great. You shoot her. She just like lets out a wheeze of drug smoke as she kind of stumbles back into her chair, and looking down at like the smoking crater in her leg. She just very weakly gives you this like the sign of the Aquila, which I assume is the equivalent of a thumbs up in this universe, and then passes out from the pain.
All right. Okay, so I know her computer is active. Tom, if I've got access, all I need is a plan. I just want to know where Dr. Octavius is, because it feels like if we can kill that guy, that's just a bonus to fucking things up in the factory.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll also say like she passes out from the pain. We're gonna call that like she's also like been smoking a lot of opiates. Like she's been. There was kind of her baseline, like I can function with this, but now she's on full, like, oh man, this is going pear-shaped. So we'll say that it's more like lolling up and be like, and like if you need her to like enter commands or anything to give you that information, she just can. So yeah, she you access her and forgive me, Ryan, what the fuck are these things called?
Oh, this is like a data bank,
Great, whatever.
A data
her computer. She just uses her fucking computer.
Oh, cogitator. Cogitator was the word we were looking for.
Yeah, it's a Kaji 64. So she activates that, and you can see that based on the kind of VIP which she would have access to, the floor plans for kind of like where security should be. Dr. Octavius is in the process of preparing the special VIP meal for the skull crawlers. So he will likely be in sort of the kitchen facility on the lower level, a little bit deeper into the base than here. It's kind of off of the main work floor. There's like a suite of like meeting rooms and executive suites. But basically, yeah, not too far from your current location. And more importantly, he's not in his lab, so he's more exposed than he would traditionally be.
Great.
I'll also say, security is lapsed today because the hardest unit of specialized assassins in the army is visiting today. It's not like, oh, the Pope is here. He's very fragile. Everyone be on your guard. It's like, oh, the Terminator is visiting. Honestly, they're much better. Them like drunken in the middle of fucking is still better than any unit we have. So it could.
The other question is, where will Vicodin and the Inquisitor land? Is there some kind of landing pad at the top of the facility? Where do they come down to?
There is. There's a sort of the equivalent, if you're thinking in Star Wars terms, on Coruscant, they always show like the big landing pads in, I think it's in like Attack of the Clones, and I think also Phantom Menace, where it's kind of like above everything. It's very classy. There is a service elevator that will take them directly to the VIP areas, and kind of because I mean, as you know, there's kind of the fake plant upstairs, and then there's like the real plant down below. It'll drop them directly down here if that's where they want to go, unless Vicodin wants to go to his office, which is kind of the penthouse overlooking the rest of the facility. He doesn't need to like check on problems personally, but he has elite staff with him who will likely take over operations. Based on the aristocratic assholes you've met in your time, Valentyne, I think it'd be safe to assume he's going to his office, not to the floor itself, unless things are like real fucked up down here. But based on it being like on lockdown, he won't be showing up here.
All right, so I'm seeing some options. We just kind of like let her pass out again. It's like, okay, back to sleep for you. I see some options. We could either kill the doctor or take the doctor hostage. And then we have kind of two opportunities to perhaps make our move on our friend, Glasgow Vicodin. Not our friend, meant that sarcastically. Future dead man, him and the Inquisitor. We could either wait in his office or we could make our way now to whatever landing pad where his ship will come down and perhaps booby trap that to, shall we say, eliminate a problem before it arrives at the facility. Or kill the doctor, keep them distracted downstairs, extract to the landing pad of the office, and try to do the homicides. Do we feel stealthy, as in straight to the office?
Like what is the advantage to keeping them alive?
Keeping who alive?
The doctor.
Well, if someone was coming after us, they might be less likely to shoot if we had someone key to the facility. Human shield. I guess heretic shield, as the case may be. So I would say yes, our options are doctor, or do we go straight to our overall mission priority? Create more chaos and do it, or just get the job done?
I like the idea of more chaos, sir. I do believe that causing a ruckus in one area of the distillery will mean less security in areas like the old penthouse office.
Done and done. All right, so looks like we'll make our move to either kill or capture a doctor and then withdraw to either the office or the landing pad, depending on how things go.
One piece I would like to add to this is, Attikus, you are still pretty hungry for revenge. So I just want to make sure we're also capturing, I know given the way you respect command structure, odds are that you would follow Valentyne's directive either way. If you did want to deal with the skull crawlers,
he does have pretty open contempt for them at this point, so he would also probably have something quick to say about that.
Sure. Okay, great.
He would also probably just say, like,
causing a bigger ruckus also increases the chances of running into those damn heretic skull crawlers, and I've got unfinished business with them.
I mean, I understand and appreciate that sentiment, Attikus, but I would like to point out how challenging it was for us to just take out 3 security men with the combined intelligence of a toaster. I'm worried that if we have to fight an entire unit of special forces, it could go poorly for us. So let's aim for an ambush as opposed to a straight fight.
I'll also say on her computer, you can find it's another like stop. It's not something that's on your way. But you can find the armory. It's likely to be full of similar weapons to this. You're not going to find like plasma cannons in there. But if you need to rearm yourselves a little bit and like armor up, there's likely possibility to do that.
All right. So step 1, armory. Step 2, Dr. Octavius and skull crawlers. Step 3, save the Emperor. The only thing I'd like to add is, and he flips through, and Tom, he would just like to see on the computer if there are any sort of safety systems where he can just make something either overheat or turn off a safety using the foreperson's abilities to like speed up production.
Oh, that is an interesting question.
He's not a fucking hacker, so it would have to be shit that's available.
No, I fully get that. In a video game, this is like, played a lot of Deus Ex recently while I was waiting for Cyberpunk to, become a game. And yeah, it's like there's certain files that are just there and you can I can click on and off doors, and then it's like hack the mechs, and it's like, I can't do that, but I can turn it on and off these doors.
Yeah.
So you're looking for stuff like that, right?
Yeah, stuff he could fuck up that would either send people elsewhere or just cause pandemonium. Because even now, the idea of pandemonium is there are alarms. Shit's still kind of too organized. So can he make a brewery thing overheat? Can he make this corner of the factory start running at 400% capacity? Just shit to send problems that are not just us.
Yeah, okay. So here's what I'll say. I think it would make sense to me based on the way I've been thinking of this factory working, that she wouldn't have the ability to just remotely do it, because then they wouldn't need workers. They could just press a button. So I think instead what you basically have is access to her Rolodex. So there are all sorts of different parts of the facility that you can access. Valentyne, can you roll me a... sorry, I put my character sheets away like a fucking scrub. Let's go with... I'm going to say skullduggery.
Sure.
Yeah. Difficulty of... I'm going to say 1. You're a pretty observant guy. I feel like if there are angles to be discovered, you would have an idea of them. I'll give you a boost for being on the computer.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Alrighty, let's see. 1 success and 4 advantage.
Shit, man. All right, that'll do. So some things for you to consider as you kind of sort out what you want to do. There are alarms going. There's chaos happening. It doesn't look like you have direct access to anything, but you do have access to all the different departments. If you were to call one of these departments, you would have to convince them that you are somehow like executing Bale's plans or orders or what have you. But that is a possibility. The other thing to consider is that this plant is in disarray, but there's also the tourist plant upstairs. And it will likely not be on lockdown or have alarms running because it's a small world after all version. So if you could cause chaos up there, you could theoretically start a war on 2 fronts, which might be beneficial to you. I'm going to say for the purposes of narrative, you can call exactly 1 department and try and make them do something. It'll be up to you to determine who you want to call. Ghostbusters is the clear answer. They are not available on this planet. So who are you going to call?
Okay. Man, this is an annoying question to have to ask, but like, who's in the Rolodex, Tom? Like, who do I got upstairs?
That's totally
if you want to give me like a top 2 most useful people
I'll just
upstairs
give you
down below.
I'll give you just a rough overview. So there is, we'll say, brewing, which is obviously where the actual, largely this is the orc operation. So like largely where the orcs are kind of like boiled down to a gross orc slurry that can then be processed into Vicodin. There's bottling, which is where all the different various brands are. It's a classic like Rube Goldberg machine. There is the gift shop, and sort of, I guess we could say guest services is all kind of under one umbrella. There is the tour floor, which is upstairs, that part of the factory. There is I will say, like, I think one of it's probably like Vicodin Classic is manufactured in that tourist floor because so little of it's made anymore that it's very easy to be like, oh. Mm-hmm. So you have access to, we'll just say like manufacturing on that floor. And then there's security, which I would say you likely could call, but don't really have access to. And finally, distribution, which are the people who handle all the trucks coming in and out, including the ones that you were riding in on. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Distribution is the answer. He will call distribution because if they've got the trucks, that's great. It's just in-out general problem. So who's in charge of distro? Tom, do we got a name?
Yeah. So it kind of rings through, and then you hear a voice pick up and say, hello, this is Minuetta Soprano in distribution. I understand there's a ruckus going on, and I hope I can help you sort it, ma'am.
Yes, this is Eugene Mordheim, Corpsec. Zavala Tunica has been shot. Balphus Bail was taken hostage but has been freed, though she's injured. There are bombs coming in your trucks. This is attempted takeover. You need to stop all trucks and arrest the drivers. Call them in, call them out, line them up. The entire factory is at stake. Thousands of lives. They'll scour us all.
Go ahead with a deception there, bud.
All righty. Luckily, that's one of the things he's decent at. What's my difficulty, Tom?
I'm going to say 2. You're calling from the foreperson's phone. I feel like the idea that someone would just like break into her office and like impersonate her isn't necessarily something that would occur to someone like Minuetta. Like, she's literally just like, oh, it's a call from the head office, and the head office is like, hey, you know that problem that's happening? It's bigger and it's related to your department. And she'd be like, I'm imagining her as just kind of a sweet dum-dum. So I'm going to say difficulty of 2. Okay. You get a boost from calling from Balphus Bail's phone. I'm going to give you a setback for name dropping Zavala. This is too much information for Minuetta Soprano. She doesn't know who that is. She barely knows who Balphus Bail is, and she might just get befuddled. It's not that she doesn't believe you. It's just
confusion. Yeah.
Like, who is that? Should I be upset about that? Is that fine? Yeah, this is a pretty big check, so I'm gonna spend a story point. Just for, honestly, I fucking love anytime, like, in the way that we've been describing the 40K universe, and I think, honestly, the way it would play out with all these planets is when you just get low enough down the ladder, there are just people who are so legitimately vexed about, like, global politics and everything. So, like, there are bombs, this is happening, interrogate people, blah, blah, blah. All the things that Valentyne is like, if I told Attikus or Marni, they would do this immediately and it would be amazing. But you're telling like the greeter at Walmart to do that. And she's just like, wait, what? So weirdly, I think it's not that she won't believe you. It's just that it's very hard to convey your will because you're not used to dealing with civilians at all.
True.
Which is, I think, a fun way to spend a story point to make it difficult. It's not a badass. It's just hard to do the thing you want. Ryan, is there anything from your skill set you'd want to add?
He's good at that. He's got his lies.
Marni cannot help you here.
Where Marni's fear to tread.
So one of the things that kind of exists in my skills, Tom, but I don't know how it would apply in this circumstance. It's usually more direct, but I have an ability called Blather, which I imagine this is actually probably dealing with exactly what it is, which is if successful, the target adds 2 failures to perception checks made to detect the actions of your allies. Like, it's designed to, like, I can do a monologue and they can sneak, but I'm kind of doing this on a factory level
you know what?
scale.
No, I'll take this because I will 100% let this roll in. So when you,
it's also an opposed deception check. So that's all this is. So it's
and because of the new dice roller, you can actually just add that. I think you can just artificially add 2 failures, I believe. Add 2 successes for you based on your skill.
So it doesn't do either. It just makes this an opposed deception check.
I see. Okay, perfect. And I think the way we'll frame this is I've gotten pretty good at this. Just with like helpful family members who want to like chime into stories with like details that are like contextually relevant sort of, but don't actually affect the story, and just like handling them and being like, yes, we're waiting for a bus stop and I was wearing this thin jacket. It was a red jacket. Yes, it was a red thin jacket. And it's like, you're just good enough at that as Minuetta's like, well, wait a minute, who is Zavala? Are they okay? It's like, no, they were shot in the head. But anyway, the important thing to remember, but do they need to, should I send some bandages? Like, well, no, bandages won't really help because they're dead. Oh, do we need to arrange a funeral? We sure do, but it's going to be later, champ. Like, so, you're just running that.
What this does for the conversation is, rather than trying to get what's-her-face to just actually deal with drivers and cause chaos, it's just confuse her and make her so scared that she will panic call all over the place and just distract everyone with either confusion or fear. So instead of it being one or way the other now, it's an opposed check. So she has to roll her deception versus my deception to see if she can essentially see I'm the guy fooling her into giving me too much change.
I'm with you. I've got my stats, and I'm sorry, based on your thing, I have to take 2 failures. Is that correct?
No. It's supposed deception. Okay. So whatever the difficulty would normally be, I guess, if you want to make your difficulty my deception rating, that might be the way to do it, but it's up to you.
Well, with an opposed check, we actually wouldn't have any difficulty. We just roll pure and then see.
Okay, so
who wins? But I'm sorry, but you did mention 2 failures, right?
No, I haven't rolled yet.
No. But on that skill, Blather.
Oh no. What happens is if I succeed, it adds failures to anyone trying to perceive what my team is doing, kind of thing.
Okay, well, I'm gonna convert that then into 2 additional setback for poor Minuetto Soprano, just because like you're not going to have sustained engagement with this character. So I want to make sure that that skill has value in this kind of rerouted way we're doing.
So then I'll add 1 difficulty for your story point. So I am not without difficulty. Does that make sense?
If you've changed it to an opposed check, then I will actually just upgrade one of my dice. So you can take that away, and I'll upgrade one of my greens to a yellow. Will not surprise you to know that Minuetta's only got 2 green to play with, and now she's got a green and a yellow. This might be the most capable she has ever been in her life. This is a gold star day for her. Honestly, like, I know you killed the last one, but some of these employees are honestly... like they are having their like Mark McGuire 300. Like this is their best day. All right, let's roll, shall we?
Yes. Okay, you laughed, and I'm also laughing inside. What did you roll, Tom?
I got a wash. I am a leaf on the wind. What did you get?
I got 5 successes and 2 advantage.
Well, geez, I wonder how this goes.
2 advantage can be spent to affect an additional target. So I'll just use my advantage to make us more successful.
Okay,
so
Ryan, what's the thing you eventually sell her? Realizing that she won't follow a smart plan, but she will do chaos. What do you demand she does in like your best J. Jonah Jameson get me pictures of Spider-Man?
Yeah. I think what he sells is
there are bombs throughout the building, and most of security has been corrupted. You need to tell them security has been corrupted. Trust no one. There are bombs.
And she's like, "Oh wow, that sounds bad. That sounds really bad." And okay, I always knew there might come a day like this. And then you just hear the tinkling of metal on metal. Just, these bullets are very slippery. Well, 1 second. Okay, that's 1. That's 2. That's how many does it holds?
Get everyone on your
6.
floor.
No, hang on a minute. Hang on. Well, now I've lost count, so I got to just empty these bullets out. Hang on. Okay, so that's 1, that's 2, and once she finishes loading her revolver, you just hear over all the loudspeakers. Hello, fellow employees. This is Minuetto Soprano from distribution. You may remember me from one of our company chanting nights as the one who brought the nachos. I know none of you thought they were very good, but I worked very hard on them. So I think that still needs to be acknowledged in a way it perhaps has not been. Listen,
Valentyne just passed his blather skill on to her.
Honestly, yeah. Listen, I hate to be the one to mention this, but as a 3rd generation employee of the Vicodin Corporation, this place means more to me than my nacho making skills, and that's a lot. So, as we feared in all of our quiet company chats, CorpoSec has proven to be corrupt and not following the mandates of Lord Vicodin and his golden throne vision of how our company should work. So, lock and load, motherfuckers. It's time to take back our plant. And then you just hear like a full-on Xena battle cry, but more nasally. You hear just over the open mic that is still broadcasting to the entire plant, a door flying open, and you hear, "Hey boys, remember me?" And then just like a bunch of fucking gunshots and screams. And as there's a muffled explosion and the mic cuts out. But Attikus, as you're looking down on the floor, kind of now seeing members of the Skullcrawlers coming out like in vaguely disheveled outfits, looking around, and like secure and tour guides just like trying to calm them down, get them back in the VIP suite. You can see that the CorpoSec guards are now like, they went from doing a full like, we're going to clear the floor, to kind of like looking to the employees, and suddenly employees just start running at them. And they just shoot them. Like, they're not fucking armed with anything, but it's like all the folks in robes are just like starting to turn. And you realize that Valentyne, by inspiring a dum-dum, has just set off a riot. At which point, suddenly the feed cuts out, and a vaguely calming Siri-esque voice just starts saying, "Incoming message from Lord Vicodin. Please cease your work and respect your god." And over the loudspeaker, you just hear, "Ah, you bunch of useless bastards. I always thought it would come to this. Well, I guess it's time to scour, huh?" And suddenly, vents open in the ceiling and begin to spray the factory floor. Attikus, from where you're looking through the window, you can see it begin to hiss as the acid begins to eat everything below it.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter as Attikus Vis, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter as Marni Schwartzenberger, and our Game Master Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's show logo was created by Decapitated Markers at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. That's MRKR. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ads use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, provided by freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. We have merchandise available at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, and most importantly, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord Abradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Chet Awesome Laser, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Taryn Hefner, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Christian Mendez, Anna Zed, Fire Unfriendly, Logan, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.